When I received the Nobel Prize, of course I was very happy, and yet, even that was a case of what we call in Japanese sayuga uma, a blessing in disguise. Let me explain the proverb first, because it has shaped how I see my whole life. Long ago, in a village near a fort in China, there lived an old man. He owned just one horse and had one son. One day his horse ran away. The villagers came to comfort him. "How terrible," they said. But the old man only replied, "This may turn out to be a good thing." A few days later, the horse came back, and it brought a magnificent second horse with it. The villagers returned to congratulate him, and the old man said, "This may turn out to be a bad thing." Soon after, his son fell while riding that fine new horse and badly broke his leg. He could no longer walk. Again the villagers offered their sympathy, and again the old man said, "This may be a good thing." Then war broke out. Nearly all the young men of the village were killed in the fighting, but the son, unable to walk, was never sent to war, and so his life was spared. The lesson is simple. Do not swing up and down with every small event the way the villagers did. Stay calm and look at the larger picture, the way the old man did. I graduated from university about 30 years ago, and across those years I have lived through many blessings in disguise of my own. When I became a doctor, the person happiest of all was my father. He had paid for my medical schooling. He ran a small factory, worked without rest, and years earlier, a blood transfusion had left him with a liver disease that slowly grew worse. Perhaps that is why he pushed me toward medicine instead of the family business. I began my career at a brand new, impressive hospital. I was thrilled, but that is exactly where my Sayuga Uma began. Waiting for me was a supervising doctor more frightening than a demon. For 2 years, not a single day passed without his shouting. He even twisted my name into a word that means nuisance, and called me that every day. During those same 2 years, my beloved father died. I lost all confidence. I was a poor surgeon, and I had not been able to save even my own father. So I turned to research. I had been drawn to it since my student days, and I hoped that through research I might help the patients that today's medicine cannot cure. I went to graduate school, then to the United States, and there I felt I had finally found my calling. My work went wonderfully. I decided to give my life to it, and I returned to Japan full of confidence. But the research world in Japan was nothing like America. Almost at once, my work stalled. My days were spent caring for 200 or 300 laboratory mice, and nothing more. I no longer knew whether I was a scientist or simply a keeper of mice. My confidence sank to the bottom again. I decided to quit research and go back to surgery. But this would be the second time I had run away, and the shame of that weighed on me. Around then, I found a fine empty plot of land in Osaka. I would buy it, build a house, and make that my reason to leave research for good. I paid the deposit. On the day of the contract, my mother suddenly phoned. She said my late father had appeared in her dream and told her to stop me. I was about 35, and it sounded absurd. Still, she was so earnest that I asked the agent to wait just one more day. That very evening, he called back. The land had already been sold to someone else. That plot had been my excuse to escape, and now it was gone. At the time, I resented my mother, and even resented my father for reaching into her dream to block me. They had cut off my escape route, and I was furious. But because of that, I could not quit. I stayed. About 6 years later, I came upon what we call iPS cells, and in 2012, I received the Nobel Prize. Even that, as I said, was a blessing in disguise, mixed with burdens I never wanted, like press conferences I dreaded and attention I could not escape. Yet it brought many good things too. As you step out into the world, you too will meet moments that seem terrible at first. That is part of what makes a life interesting. You will not only have good days, and you cannot know, in the moment, which way any of them will finally turn. So when hard times come, remember the old man. Stay calm. Do not be tossed about by every passing event, and quietly tell yourself, this may yet turn out to be a good thing.